Well, you can say on Twitter, I need XYZ, and pretty soon
Yep.
you have this whole population, and just the amount of articles that are out there that are just, they're so intriguing and help to build me professionally, because I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that, we could do that.
My favorite tool is definitely the listserv that I'm a member of, because I just feel like it is a true community. Many of us don't know each other. If we saw each other on a street or at a conference, we wouldn't even know that we were members of that same listserv. But I have learned so much from those people, and I know I can share with them, they can share with me.
I currently, for my personal learning network, I'm using Twitter. I'm also using Edmodo. I have some teachers that are on there that aren't quite ready for Twitter just yet. Facebook, believe it or not, from time to time, and then of course, old school email.
I've been using Twitter recently a lot as my personal learning network, because I can get all kinds of ideas on there, and if I post something out, then people get back to me right away with great ideas, and I really like that. I also read a lot of blogs, technology blogs, and get the latest and newest Web 2.0 tools and trying to incorporate them in my classroom and brainstorm with other teachers, and that's how I'm incorporating the technology into my class.
The level of connections have expanded over time, from RSS to Twitter to Nings to Ed Chats, even being connected and watching TED Talks and sharing those as resources. But I try to keep my information organized. I do use social bookmarking, that's primarily number one. Once I find those things that are most meaningful and relevant, then it's how do I deliver that information out to the staff. The number one blog for me, both in terms of it's sparking my own intellectual curiosity as well as providing ideas for working with teachers, is Dan Meyer's blog. Dan, he's a math teacher out in California. He's very focused on extending student thinking, as well as developing a challenging and meaningful curriculum. So I read his blog daily. I will check into my reader to see if there's a new item. And then what I've done with his blog is I checked his blog roll. And I felt as though if I wanted to learn more about the way Dan thinks, because I was inspired by his writing and the way he's thinking about teaching and learning, then his blog roll must be a great resource for me. And I've found other blogs through his. You know, these are the ones that have the big legs. Will Richardson's blog, Scott McLeod's, Joyce Valenza's blog, Richard Burns' blog, Free Technology for Teachers is a great resource providing blog. But the other blogs I mentioned really help provide, I think, a level of intellectual curiosity for me that allows me to really think about teaching and learning. And that's something that I try to transfer over into my coaching experiences with the staff.
Twitter is probably one of my favorite things, and I've learned to use it strategically. I no longer care if I don't read everything that's in my feed. I no longer can read everything that's in my feed. So I use my lists, and when I need to look at what publishers are saying or what authors are saying, I'll go to that list. But I most often use hashtags very strategically. I can use hashtags to set up an instant poll, like when I was trying to find out from academic librarians what is the most prevalent documentation style. I just created a hashtag that said which style, and then immediately I could gather all the responses with just a click on the hashtag, and I think that was an interesting discovery. But lately, I really am interested in collaborative curation. I'm following a number of blogs, I'm following Twitter hashtags, as I mentioned, and so a way to funnel that into one attractive paper that I can read when I have the time is really pretty fabulous, and I find the curation tools like Scoop.it and Paperly and Themify. For me right now at this moment, Scoop.it seems to be working very, very well so that I can manage all those streams and make sense of
there. I use follow blogs, I use a reader, I do dabble in Facebook and Twitter and some Nings out there and stuff, but without those tools I wouldn't be able to offer much of anything to any teacher that I deal with. I really lean on that heavily to gain my understanding of what this world means in the 21st century related to education.
I'd say Twitter mainly is probably the most valuable social feed that I have embraced, just because of it's easy, it's quick, and it's I think more business-like maybe than my Facebook presence.
I think personally, my use of personal learning networks is maybe a little quirky because I'm a big Facebook fan. And so not only are we able to keep up with our personal lives and kind of give a human element to the Facebook or the personal learning network, but we've also built collaborative practices. Another thing that I'm a fan of is Twitter, and it's because it's short, concise, and to the point. So I've built a group of people that I follow that I consider to be leaders in the field of educational technology and ed reform and innovative practices. And so wherever I am, whether I'm on a plane or in a car traveling or maybe just a few down minutes in between meetings, I'll search my Twitter feed, and many times I'll email that to myself and build that knowledge base of links and ideas and thoughts from people that are thinking, pondering, and trying to engage in and innovate in the same ways I am.